Okay, good morning everyone, and no, just kidding. Anyway, we are going to a gold mining tour thing today, so we're going to go there, check it out. I'm just flicking the heaters off, turning all the power out. My house is a mess. Turn all the lights off, grab my money, my license, my driver's license, chuck it in my pocket. Yeah. One, that, and that. 2, 3. Goodbye, you. Say bye. Right, we're off to the car. Okay. Oh, I feel a bit slow. I'll be right. I had my heart tablets this morning. Okay, let's get the hell out of here. Right, got the car going, just waiting for it to warm up a bit and go from there. Okay, we are here. People are rocking up. This is where we're going to be. Look at that. That's where we're going to be. Except we're going underground, about 61 metres deep. So, yeah. So we're going to go in, and it is freaking windy and cold. Right, here we go. Alright, let's show the tickets. Okay, I got my lanyard. So, dark, dirty, awesome. How dare you be a dirty bastard? So there you go, the tram rails, look at that. Ah, look at that. So this is where we're going to meet shortly. We've got half an hour, but you know, that everyone wants you here early. I guess that'll be the elevator. Oh yeah, you go in there. Oh, baby. Woo-hoo. I'm going to take some photos. Look at that. Gee, look at that. Hey, mate. Sir. Oh yeah, you get to look outside. Oh, gee, that's amazing. Shit. I wonder if you can get through. Probably not. Look at that.
My name is Charles White. They call me Charlie.
Ah.
I came as an experienced blacksmith to the Central Desert. First started here in August.
Oh, that wind. Gee, look at the lake. Oh yeah, look at them. Might get some waterfalls, guys. Feels like it's -3, but it's not. Look at that. We'll go around here. I'm definitely getting some photos of that. Wow, look at this. I'll get some photos. Gee, look at that. Mmm. Oh, this is where you find gold. Taylor Horseshoe Bendigo Vic. Oh yeah, people going in here.
Dirty bloody job, mate, but I suppose someone's got to do it. Mind you, we can make a good quid out of it. You know, we mine a hell of a lot of rock out of this hole. The little bit of glittering stuff we find makes all the difference.
Mmm. Wow. This is why they get you to be here by 9:30, because they want you to have a look at their tourist thing here too. So yeah, look at that rock. Might take some photos of them.
Golden era, Bendigo, a city built on gold and the rush to discover its hidden treasure.
Go! Ah, you go!
Gold.
I had to be an idiot.
Metal that has
Time to
special
get to the thing.
gold.
I must say that kid right here looks like Leland from Oshituck Mushrooms in America, but it's not. But he looks so like him. Interesting. That's the guy that's going to lead us. There we go. He wants us to all line up. Okay. Oh yeah, he's open to. Ooh. Meeting point. That's where we're going to. So obviously we're all meeting up in here. There's a waiting area, plus I think they're going to go through some rules and regulations, and then we'll probably go through that door. People are piling up now. Off we go. Alright, we're meeting up along here, I guess.
The one in the back corner should be here, attached to those big chains and hooks. 2 coaches I'll talk to you about once we're underground on the tour. Follow me this way. Make sure you know what quartz is. The white rock just there with the black one is quartz. All of Australia's gold starts in quartz, so does most of the world's gold. Keep it in mind on the tour. Come in, head down to the first line with the yellow sign, wait for the street. Okay, the nice low beam setting up that lead the light on that low beam setting the whole way through on the tour, so you can see where you're going, see what I'm talking about. You're not going to be blinding each other and me the whole way. White helmets for all the adults. Small children can grab a blue helmet straight away. Most of the bigger kids will fit into white helmets as well. You adjust the helmets with the dial at the back, like the video just showed you. Done it all the way up with the dial, still a bit loose on your head. Having any problems, to come and see me straight away. You want to use a head pointer here to the left, grab on your way past if you want to. They are not compulsory. Today, the 2 middle rows of the white helmets around the corner here to the left all should have lights installed. The 2 middle rows on the blue helmets at the end of the white helmets should have lights installed for the kids. Come around the corner, get yourself out with a hard hat, turn the light on, the 3 kids on the red part. And then come right over this side, please. If you're ready to go, when we're over here, it'll be fine. Check everyone with a good helmet.
Into the left.
There you go.
Alright, we're 61 metres deep. Feels weird. Oh goodness, it's wet. Wow.
Once you're through, when you go back close towards the lift, I'll make sure the water truck up ahead. So you can stand and move forward there. Can't just sit. Unless you're trying to, of course. You're right back.
Wow. Interesting.
Stop. Standing in a flat. Flat is a Cornish term from Cornwall in England, means open space. You need a bit more space in this area, so you can load and unload things coming down the shaft in front of you. This shaft was the only way in or out of this mine when it was a working operating gold mine between 1939 and December of 1954. You'll remember the two cages I quickly pointed out up the top. They operate in the two middle compartments here. They're called the working compartments. So one cage goes up in one, the other one's usually going down in the other at the same time. Keep it wet, doesn't knock down on the grade. Some of the timber that you're looking at in there behind you was installed in 1941. Red button in the middle there, if you press that it rings a bell on every level of the mine and up on the surface. Spells out how they communicate. It's like Morse code for mining. Every level has its own code, every command has its own code. We still use the bells because we still use those cages you all saw up the top. Anytime we use the cages, we use the bells, tell the driver on the surface where we want the cage to go, to stop, to come back up. If you want to go below level 3 in this mine, but you don't want to go for a cage ride, you go down the manway over here. It's got ladders all the way from the surface to level 17 in the old days. If you had to climb out to the 17 level after 8 hours of work, a bit miner from 410 metres, continuous climb for at least 2.5 hours. Not fun. Big pipe coming out of the top of the manway up there brings compressed air underground. Compressed air runs all of our equipment and machinery. Small pipe above it coming out brings fresh water underground, mainly used for our drills. I'll show you some drills later.
Me? I stopped it.
People got in trouble.
Geology. I'm going to start easy for you. Quartz in this mine is good. Everything else is bad. Quartz is good because it could have gold in it. Gold's the only thing this mine makes money on. Profits in the quartz. That's why it's good. Everything else down here that you're going to see that's not quartz has no gold. Has nothing of value in it. It's rubbish and it's in our way. That's why it's bad. If you remember that on this tour today, you'll all be perfectly fine with geology in this mine. I am paid to give you more technical detail about quartz is good and everything else is bad. So here it comes. Have a look around you. What you're looking at the moment is the waste. In mining in Australia, we usually call this mullock. Really what you're looking at here is either sandstone or slate. Sandstone is going to cover over 90% of the waste rock that you are going to see on the tour today. In Bendigo, you'll be looking at least 5 times harder than concrete. You'll also see some slate on occasion. There's a line of slate right next to me just here, or shale, some people call it. Slate's going to cover 5 to 6% of the waste you're going to see on the tour today. You can often just break bits of it out with your fingers and hands, snap it off. Big difference in strength between those two. Both of them are sedimentary rocks. That means they were formed at the bottom of an ocean. These ones are formed between 480 to 500 million years ago. Formed from dirt, washed off a landmass at the time into the ocean, settles to the ocean floor, cemented in place in different layers over millions of years worth of pressure pushing down on it. Jump forward to 440 million years ago. Lots of pressure coming in from the east and the west, or down the east coast of Australia. Has everyone here heard of the continental drift? Continental shelves, tectonic plates,
Yep.
drifting, moving when they
Yep.
crash into each other. Yes, we get earthquakes, but the rocks have to go somewhere. They've got one option, they go up. That's how mountains are created. The Great Dividing Range runs all the way down the east coast of Australia and curls up in Victoria. It started to be created around 440 million years ago when the shelf of New Zealand, shelf of Tasmania and shelf of Antarctica crashed into the shelf of Australia and the rocks went up. Same thing happening in Bendigo. Bendigo is technically part of the Great Dividing Range. Pressure coming in from the east and the west forced our sandstone and slate that was originally formed flat start rising up, buckling and folding up into what we call a saddle formation. Sandstone and slate has different strength. It bends, buckles and breaks at different rates of force. As it buckles up into the saddle formation, the rock. More importantly, what I'm talking to you about at the moment, gaps and cracks occur between two different layers, two different types of sedimentary rock in a saddle shape, one on top of the other all the way down on the most productive part of the Bendigo Goldfield. One last jump between 440 and 350 million years ago. Superheated solutions of silica forced from deep within the earth up through the gaps and the cracks caused by the buckling and folding, fills them all up. Super hot, under immense amounts of pressure. So hot, melts things down, liquefies things, brings things up with it from deep within the earth, brings up gold, brings up pyrites, copper, sulfur, arsenic, silver. Eventually, the hot solution of silica cools down, solidifies within the gaps and the cracks, and it turns into quartz. All quartz around the world is formed the same way, method that I just tried to explain to you then. All the gold that humans have ever touched started deep within the earth and has been brought to the surface. Scientists have proven that. Bendigo is special because of our reef structures. Our quartz reefs in the most productive part of the Bendigo Goldfield are in that saddle formation. 37 lines of reef running north-south parallel to each other on the Bendigo Goldfield, slowly rising and falling on the 15 k's north-south, the most productive part of the Bendigo Goldfield. Line of reef within that most productive part of the Bendigo Goldfield has a saddle reef, on top of a saddle reef, on top of a saddle reef, predictable, one after the other, reliably tested to gold per tonne of quartz. 1 in 4 of those saddles in the most productive part of the Bendigo Goldfield was going to be above that mark they needed on average. So gold mines like this in Bendigo never run out of gold because we never run out of reefs. That's what makes Bendigo special. Nowhere else in Australia where you get saddle reefs predictable one on top of the other like they are here on the Bendigo Goldfield. Super rare worldwide as well. It's one main reason why Bendigo's produce more gold than any other place in Australia. Bendigo is the richest goldfield in all of Australia. Bendigo area
Amazing.
is producing big amounts of gold right now because you're standing here. One of the richest gold mines in the world is about 35 minutes drive out away from here in your car. It's operating right now. So there you go. There's the technical stuff the boss pays me to tell you. Quartz is good. Everything else is rubbish. If you remember that, you'll be perfectly fine. Don't worry, there's no test after the tour. Any questions about reef structure, geology, or anything else you're wondering about the mine?
Is that similar to the Egyptians getting their gold out?
Sorry?
With the humpbacks, you know, with the
Saddles.
would that be a similar arrangement where the Egyptians got their gold from them?
I'm not an expert in what the Egyptian goldfield, if there are any goldfields in Egypt.
No, but they had massive gold.
Well, they did, but they might have been importing it from somewhere else. Okay? I know that there's goldfields further down from where Egypt is. There was a lot of trade in those ancient times. So, look, either way, most of the world's gold is associated with quartz. They're not probably going to have saddle reefs. Saddle reefs, one on top of the other especially, is super rare. There's 2 goldfields that are found in the world, Bendigo and a goldfield over in Nova Scotia in Canada. Most other places are fault reefs. Movement creates gaps, but mostly going up. All right? So, and there are some other options as to how the gold can make its way to the surface. Volcanic activity is one.
Oh yeah.
There's
Interesting.
an area in the world where they get, in Europe, where they get gold forming naturally in marble. Marbles come up liquefied. So there are a few other options. But I would suggest that the golds come from quartz originally. Okay, all of Australia's golds come from quartz at some stage, no exceptions. Most of the world's gold has as well. But you would have to do a little bit of research into Egyptian goldfields. Every place is different. This way.
Off we go.
Head inside, have a seat. Benches on the side on the end there for you. This area is a crib room. Crib's another Cornish term, means light lunch. This is where you came for your lunch break. You worked 8
Interesting.
hours underground, you had a half-hour paid lunch break. You had to stay underground for the whole 8 hours of your work day. Main reason for that was security. So a strip search you after every shift, watch you in the shower, go through your clothes while you're in the shower, do a general body search on you when you get out of the shower. If they catch you trying to steal gold from this mine, you lose your job on the spot. You go to jail and pretty much straight away for up to 2 years. When you get out of jail, you don't get blacklisted. You're never going to get another job as a miner in Victoria ever again. Harsh punishments for miners who tried to steal gold and got caught. This one pays very well to work here and only employed professional, experienced contract miners. You weren't considered a professional miner in those days unless you had at least 5 years' experience. Most of the men who worked in this mine as contract miners were in the late 20s to mid-30s. They would have been sent to work by their parents in their mid-teens in those days. They always worked in a crew of 2. Crew of miners got paid every 2 weeks as to how much work they got done. They got paid either by the distance they went through the waste in 2 weeks or the amount of tonnes of quartz they got out of the mine in 2 weeks. The contract miner in this mine in 1952 was on average earning 22 to 24 pounds a week. If we convert that over to Australian dollars value these days, $3,500 to $4,000 bucks, $100,000 a year. Miners who worked here were paid for their expertise. Employing professionals, less mistakes. Lamp or a gas lamp. This compartment would be filled up with fresh water. That one's really easy. This one, unscrew the canister, fill it up with calcium carbide, mix of limestone and coking coal. It's been a chemical process.
Interesting.
There's a tiny little hole, just below my little finger there. We're going to put this one, I promise it's there.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
Going to put this one in the other one. Water's going to drip through the hole, mix it with calcium carbide, chemical reaction forms acetylene gas. Gas comes up and out the end of the spout, spark up a match. 15 times brighter than a candle, so it's a good light source.
Interesting.
Quality. Flame needs oxygen to burn, we need oxygen to breathe. Burns pretty clean, not much smoke, as long as you've got enough oxygen in the air. It's really handy to light diffusers on your explosives. A professional miner in this mine buys rock apart with explosives every single day that he's at work if he wants to get paid. I'll talk to you about blowing stuff apart with explosives later. What's the question, mate?
When I keep looking at the ground, I see these little sparks, like little kind of shines for a second, like normally around the sides. What are they?
They're magnesium sulfate crystals. They just grow down here naturally. It's what they make Epsom salts from.
Ah, good
Don't
question.
eat them. If you eat them, you'll need the toilet very, 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 very quickly. Don't eat anything in the mine.
Okay.
Anything that sparkles isn't worth money. Gold does not sparkle. Alright, so it might look pretty, but don't worry about them too much. Don't eat them, you know. It's not gold. It's not worth anything.
Maybe a skit.
There's no diamonds down here. You're not playing Minecraft. Minecrafter?
I do play mine.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
This is not Minecraft. This is a real mine. If you want diamonds in Australia, you go to Argyle over in Western Australia. This is a gold mine. We produce gold.
Okay.
There's no creepers down here either. Right?
Good question.
There's stuff. It's a gold mine. This is me playing Minecraft.
Well, at least it's constructive.
I guess so. I'd rather be in a real mine than play Minecraft.
Well, yep.
I like computer games though. I play FIFA and other stuff like that. But I'm not going to play Minecraft. Anyway, you ready to keep going?
Yep.
Righto. We're on the right hand side, our function room. We have kids' birthday parties, weddings underground, business functions. It is available for hire. So if you're interested in hiring that area out, have a chat to someone behind the front desk. Come this way. Toilet situation on the right hand side is pretty self-explanatory. You come around the corner. Don't use it. Let's stop here. Come in, find a spot underneath the timbers. So, have a look above you and around you in this section. You notice the timbering. This is pretty typical of what miners used to put up in the old days for a bit of extra safety. Most people look at it and think it's there holding the rock up. It's not holding anything up at all. It's there as an early warning system. If the rock starts to move and puts enough pressure on the timbering, start to stress, creak, groan, make a lot of noise. If we hear that as miners in the old days, we're already running for our lives as quick as we can to the exit. It means it's going to collapse. You do not want to be underneath it when it does. This is what they had in the old days, so it's what they did. But don't kid yourself. Any old mines that you go and you see timber in there, you think it's holding anything up? No. At best, it's an early warning system and that's it. These days we do it differently. You all seen those square things on the walls and on the roof so far? Mesh behind them? That's modern form of rock support. Each one of those in good condition will hold in at least 5 tonnes of rock in place for us. Some will be holding in up to 10. Pin in the middle of the square, 6 foot deep into the rock, made of spring steel, big split down one side of it, hence the name split set. Excuse me. All along that 6 foot of length being of spring steel, that pin is trying to spring back out to its normal shape. That's what spring steel does. That pushes out onto the rock, and that tightens all the rock up and holds the rock in place for us. If we didn't have any of those in here, none of you would be taking a tour here today. We follow the same rules and regulations as every other mine in Victoria. This is an olden days mine that we've made safe for you to access to have a look around. Bostonville Gold Mine, half an hour's drive away from here, is a modern mine, employs just under 1,000 people, drive a dump truck underground, producing a huge amount of gold in the last 5 years. Doesn't matter, we're both following the same rules because we're both mines in Victoria. So you're nice and safe down here today, no rocks are falling over. We follow the rules. Yes.
I see a lot of gold there.
No, you don't. That is sulphur. Yes, it does if you mix it with water. If you don't mix it with water, it doesn't smell like anything. Go down to Roslyn Park sometimes in the middle of town and you smell a funky smell. It's not the bats, so be nice to the bats. It's not public toilets. It's sulphur in the water that's been outletting underneath into the creek from a mine shaft, the Hustlers Royal Reserve, which was situated right where the Soldiers Memorial Hall is. So be nice to the bats. That's what it smells like. But no, if that was gold, we'd be pretty happy. If that was gold, it would be covered up so you didn't get sticky fingers, Minecrafter. I'll show you some gold at the next stop, okay?
Okay.
Classic.
Any other questions? No?
No.
All right, well, we better go and have a look at some gold because our Minecrafter up the front here is getting antsy on it. Come on, let's go.
Oh, that's funny. I'm being an idiot.
All right, we'll stop here and wait for everyone to catch up and back with brief, please. What a split set pin looks like before it goes in. Each one is this deep into the rock. This is what the length of fit this mine space dimensions. Modern mining, you get them 3 or 4 times as long as that, okay? So leaning up against the wall on the right hand side, you want to have a look at the come past. Come down this way, reef's up ahead, gold's up ahead. Make sure you stay with your group, please. Can't aim back to take photos of everything.
This is amazing. Amazing. Ooh. People still coming.
We're going to turn left here. Here's the reef, here's the gold.
Ah.
Come in, find a spot where you can see the window, you can have close, take photos, videos are fine, find some gold. Remember, come in the thoughts. This is only a tiny bit of a reef here. Saddle reef starts in on the legs at the sides as they curl up and over into the anticlinal fold or the saddle shape. They tend to get bigger and bigger and bigger and thicker and thicker and thicker. The peak of a reef is called the cap of a reef. You're all looking at the cap of a saddle behind these 3 windows right now. Below the cap in centre country, biggest, thickest area of quartz on a saddle reef usually. Those areas can get up to 15 metre wide by 15 metre high bodies of quartz.
Have you seen?
There's a lot of quartz beneath your feet right now that you can't see in relation to this reef, but it's
I'll
there.
get out the way.
This reef doesn't stop here, keeps going, rising and falling along the 15 k's north-south of the middle. You were all standing above this reef when we were talking about geology before. It's risen up as it headed south. I have no doubt you'll see good gold on the face there behind the 3 windows because there's at least around 20,000 bucks worth of gold visible spread through the 3 windows combined. You can't see gold in this reef, you're not going to see gold in the quartz reef ever. We've even got little signs next to the gold in the front 2 windows going back for me to help you. Totally different amounts of grams of gold per tonne. They do not get richer as you go deeper down. It doesn't work like that. Average of 1 in 4 on the way down the lines in Bendigo, the most productive part of the Bendigo goldfield, was going to be like this one, above the mark they needed to make money out of it. Have a look at all that colour in the quartz. Greys, yellows, reds, browns, greens. More colour, more mineralisation, more chance of gold being in it. Pure white quartz. We call that graveyard a tombstone. The only good thing you can do with it is decorate a grave. Make a tombstone out of it. Pure white quartz, no mineralisation, means no chance of gold being in it. You want the blue quartz with all the nice colours in it. That's where the stuff worth the money's going to be. You'll also see some things in the windows there marked as iron pyrites. Most of you would probably know that these days as fool's gold. All fool's gold is cubic in structure and crystallised. It's a crystal. It's not gold at all. Because it's cubic, if you shine your light on it, it will reflect the light back at you. It will glitter and sparkle at you. If you see anything glittering and sparkling at you down here, don't get too excited. You're not rich. It's fool's gold. It's worth nothing. Having a lot of it in our reef isn't a bad thing. You'd be getting paid over 100 million bucks Australian for the gold that came from this mine. This mine ran at profit for 15 years, made money for the investors, paid dividends to shareholders. It was worth their time mining here. This mine made money. There were much richer gold mines in Bendigo than this one, but this mine ran at a profit for 15 years. This mine closed down in December of 1954, didn't run out of gold. We can see that. This mine closed down because they can no longer make money from mining the gold out of here anymore. Got to be able to make profit. Most governments after World War II around the world put the price of gold down very low, fixed in place, called the gold standard, stuck there until the 1970s in Australia. For running this mine after the war, inflation went through the roof, everything starts costing more, just kept going up and up and up, but the gold price is still stuck low. So it becomes untenable. They're not in the business of losing money. They shut the mine down, walk away. Mine was abandoned for 15 years, filled up with water. Came up for sale in the early 1970s. Bendigo Council realised this is the last complete gold mine out of over 5,600 of these mines in a 15k by 4k area. University, Monash University, paying to see this reef for geology students. It's one of the few natural payable reefs you'd be able to pay to see in the state of Victoria. Yes.
So if you were to buy
This
this
kid is so
mine
funny.
back when it was actually working, you'd have to be very rich at the time.
Oh, I don't know, 6,000 bucks isn't too much, is it?
Well, back then, 6,000.
It was worth more then, but
Yeah.
still with house prices and land prices as they are.
Yeah.
But they didn't pay for the lease. So the council buying this didn't mean they could mine here for gold. They bought the infrastructure and access to the mine. They didn't buy the rights to mine for gold. If you're going to do that, you're going to have to pay the Victorian government big money. Okay? So yeah, just because they bought the mine doesn't mean they could mine for gold. The buildings up the top are, they're the last surviving complete setup for a mine like this. So most of the ones up near the front entrance building, not the front entrance building itself, obviously the tram barn, but the wider house, the shoe change rooms, carbide lamp room, first aid room, carpenter's shed, that's all heritage listed. There's some of the equipment is as well, like the winder up the top. But the mine itself, the workings, no. All right, you're not. This stuff that you're standing in at the moment was blown out in the mid 1980s. This is not original. You have walked through original workings with me already on this tour. They were blown out in the 1940s. Yeah. But this part was taken out in the redevelopment for tourism so that you could see the reef. They didn't know how much gold was going to be in there when they cut through here. They knew it was here, but obviously left it there so you could see a real natural reef with payable gold in it. Think about the gold they took out from where you're standing there.
Is there a price per ounce that the market can get to make it viable again?
No, we'll keep going then. Let's go and have a look at some drills. Make sure you stay with the group, please. Take photos and videos whenever you like on the tour, but you must stay with the group at all times. Okay, point us on that side, to your left, facing this way towards the drills now. Alright, so I'll get you to drill holes in the rocks blown apart with explosives. You get a lot of people come down here under the impression this mine was dug out with a pickaxe because too many of you play Minecraft. Not just the kids, the adults do too sometimes. All of these hard rock mines are blown out with explosives from the 1850s onwards. Anyone tells you otherwise, you've got three options. They don't know what they're talking about, they're lying to you, or they play too much Minecraft. So, early days, 1850s. Had to drill the holes into the rock by hand to pack the holes full of explosives to blow the rock apart. They used a hammer and tap method, sledgehammer and chisel down there. The hammer would be a 12-pound sledgehammer, 5 kilograms of steel on the end of a big stick. And the tap is the chisel. You'd be drilling a metre deep drill hole. You're going to be using various length of tap for one hole. The longest one's going to be over 1 metre long. One manhole to chisel or tap on the rock face. Drills like this green one in the corner here. Technical name for this machine is a stroker. These were first invented in 1849, but weren't used in Victoria until 1866 in a town called Malden, half an hour's drive out of Bendigo these days. Within a couple of years, they're quickly spread throughout the Victorian goldfields because they're much quicker at drilling holes into the rock. It's a mechanical version of the hammer and tap method I just explained for you. Bashes a hole through the rock. Run up compressed air, guy up the front turns the drill steel quarter of a turn by hand between every hit. Metre deep in 40 minutes for that one. Widowmaker there was built in Bendigo in 1884, 4 blocks away from here. These drills operated in Victoria from 1866 into the 1930s. Early 20th century, these ones are invented over in America. This one's called a drifter. This is the kind of drill you would use in this mine when it was a working operating gold mine. This company had 10 of these drifters working underground per shift when it was at its busiest. Drill steel will turn by itself mechanically, slowly winding down the handle at the back on the screw to drill the hole. Left connection compressed air runs the machine, right connection fresh water. Run the fresh water through the drill, through the hollow drill steel into the hole we're drilling as we're drilling it. Makes it work quicker. 1.5 metres deep in 10 minutes with one of these. 9 seconds, because this is what you've all paid for and because it's one of my favourite things in the mine. So kids, I'd like to see all the children with their own fingers shoved in their ear holes. And if you block your ears like that, kids, it will work better than a pair of earmuffs will. Adults, I'm recommending to all of you to do the same thing, but I've taken enough of these tours to know that sometimes adults don't like to take recommendations. Sometimes adults like to video the machine operating on their phones. I can already see some phones out. Hearing protection, you might be next to 5 or 6 of them in a row on the same level. Industrial deafness is a given for a miner in those days. Holding on to that drill for that amount of time, 6 days a week, the vibrations come up through your fingers and hands and kill the nerves in there. You lose all the feeling in there, but you still can use your fingers and hands. There are health issues with this drill for the miners, but you're going to get to old age on this one. It's not as bad as dying at 30 years old from silicosis. So, that's the kind of drill they used in this mine, when it was a working operating gold mine. Last one is this one. It's called a combination air leg. First invented in 1944 in Sweden. Didn't become popular in Victoria in mining until the later 1950s. 2 main reasons for that. World War II threw a spanner in the works. And the costs. Brand new one of these drills, in the 1950s, cost you £120. £120 was a big amount of money in those days. And you had to install extra infrastructure up in the blacksmith shop, which they didn't want to do. They used those. They stuck with them for about a decade after these were invented. Yeah, but much better drill, much more efficient drill. Pneumatic leg here does most of the work for you. You control your leg with your pineapple. Open your pineapple up. We'll extend the ram to the pneumatic leg, anchor with the spikes at the back of the leg. Does most of the work for you. Trigger, on, off, compressed air, fresh water. New version of this one, 2 metres deep in 5 minutes. Still used in modern mining to this day. That's a newer one, but punch the split sets in that you've been seeing on the way through the tour. Yeah, so still used in modern mining. Any questions about drills? Or in the side like this is to keep a lot of drill steels nice and sharp, ready for the miners to grab them and use them. There's drill shanker up the top in the blacksmith shop, 2 forges up there. Also, one of the blacksmith's main roles was to repair any of these drills that needed repairing. Later on into the 1940s, they went into tungsten carbide inserts. That one. There's your insert there. It's not sharp, that would be nice and sharp. Okay? You've even got a hole in the back for your water to come out. Okay? These are a bit more efficient, more work for the blacksmith to fit them in by hand, but much better off with those ones. You'd be using 3 different lengths for one hole anyway. So, that's a short one to start with. Then you go to the intermediate, and you go to the long one to finish off. Drilling 1.5 metre deep drill holes in those guys. I have said yes. Anyone who says no just means they've never blown anything up with explosives before. We do not use TNT Minecrafter. No, TNT was never used in mining, ever.
No.
If you want to know about TNT, I'll tell you after the next stop if you ask me with the question, okay? All right, let's go and have a look at some explosives.
Interesting. Is this going to be interesting?
Use the wall.
Yes.
Around the corner, use to the right.
Like collapsing down and stuff.
Spooky.
Okay, coming in behind the side of the rock wall on your left, facing the wall on the right on your please. We're going to be mainly focusing on the middle pattern over here and the one on the far side. Looking at the middle pattern here and maybe touch on this one as well. So if you want to fill that gap up there, that's fine, it's up to you. Alright, blast patterns and explosives. Can't just drill your holes anywhere, have to drill in a special pattern called a blast pattern. Wall. Don't worry about the one behind me, we're going to talk about those two. They're the two that they use to blow the rock out where you've been walking with me today. You've all walked through some heritage workings with me today that were blown out in the 1940s when this level was operational. Those areas are blown out with a version of the pattern opposite side to me. It's called the Bendigo drag. Developed in Bendigo, used all over the world in mining in the late 19th to mid 20th centuries. As a rule, normally blasts out 2 metres, 1.5 metres squared of rock, and that's going to throw you out around 15 tonnes of rock. You've also walked through areas blown out in the mid-1980s when they redeveloped this level for tourism, which I mentioned before. This area is one of them. It was blasted out with a burn cut, the one in the middle. The burn cut, more modern, refined, better version of the Bendigo drag pattern, but the principles are the same. They both work the same way. The burn, normally 2 metres squared, 20 tonne. We're going to start with the burn. Can you see the big hole in the middle? Mm-hmm. That's the post hole. Big as you can see it on the outside, that post hole would go straight in 2 metres deep. It's where a rock is going to get blasted to. The explosions on this pattern would happen where the lights come on. Where those lights are coming on, those holes straight in 2 metres deep, packing towards it. If we set those explosions off where the lights came on, without the post hole, the rock's then got nowhere to get blasted to within the 2 metres squared. It's got to go somewhere. It's got one option, to come out. And then you lose all the control over it. It becomes a lot more dangerous. In mines in Bendigo in the 1850s. Anyone know what they were using, or anyone want to have a guess as to what kind of explosives they would be using? Dynamite is a good answer, but it's not invented yet, mate. We're talking 1850s. Any other ideas? We might check this one. Straight nitro, you'd be dead.
Gunpowder?
Gunpowder, black powder. More specifically, coarse version of gunpowder. Volatile, hard
Interesting.
to control. Lots of accidents, lots of deaths. That's what they had. That's what they used. There are some stories about American mining companies attempting to use straight nitroglycerin to blow rock apart in mining. It didn't go well. Straight nitro just blows up whenever it wants. You blow some air on it, it blows up. You move it, it blows up. Countries had laws about even transporting it through built-up areas. It was that dangerous. So 3 sticks get put into the hole by hand, one after the other. Last one to go in is a primer. You need You need a 2 metre long safety fuse with gunpowder in it to keep it burning once you light it in the damp conditions down here. Last thing you need is a detonator. Det for sure. Anyone shot a cat gun before?
Yeah.
It's like a cap from a cat gun. Don't need it. With much more gunpowder in it. Big kick. That was good, it would blow most of my hand apart. First thing we do, we get our detonator, put it on the end of our fuse, crimp it in place with a pair of tongs, get it nice and secure. You then make a hole in the end of a jelly stick with a sharp piece of wood. Jelly knight's like a hard stiff putty. We then get the end of a safety fuse with the detonator and 4-finger. That is what we call a primer. Primer goes in the hole last, pack everything into the end of a hole with a long thin wooden stick known as a tamping stick. Hang your fuse out of the hole. Looks like a rat's tail coming out of a hole. Miners used to call them tails. One of these sound effects this time. Now this one's nowhere near as loud as a drill, but I normally find most people, kids and adults, don't need to block their ears on this one. But this is your warning. If you don't like loud noises, I would suggest you block your ears now. 3, 2, 1. Remember you're deaf, you'll be feeling percussion hits coming through you at the play. They could tell by the strength of the hits coming through if they went off according to plan or not. If they did, we finish our shift, go to the surface, get strip search checked and leave. If they don't, we finish our shift, go to the surface, get strip search checked. Before we leave, we tell the boss we had misfires, then we leave. He tells the next crew of miners come down here to remove that rock. You probably want to be a bit more careful because there's live explosives in the polar rock that have to move. Hit a detonator on a primer with a shovel, it'll be the end of it. It's a chain reaction from there. But it's not your problem, you're at the pub over the road. Yeah?
Next bit.
This last got really quickly and we'll go straight
Ooh.
to the okay? Now if you're feeling faint or if you feel like there's nothing out or anything, you tell someone straight away, okay? Alright, really quickly. First big job is to remove 15 tonnes of rock for 2 miners. In this mine, it's alright to get your helmet on, you're going to do it by hand. 2 tenths of the 15 tonne are going to be big pieces, no bigger than the size of your head. Let's say they didn't have any misfires. Pick them up with your hand. 15 tonne of rock to move means at least 30 of those to do. Good crew of professional miners move 15 tonne out of this mine in around 4.5 hours. Everything goes according to plan. That's how they did in this mine, by hand. Some mines had machines like this one. It's called a rocker shovel. This came out in 1938. This one started in 1939. There's around this one operated, but they were super expensive. It's a really quick way of moving rock. This mining company did not have the money for these. They never used them here. Big bucket at the front, run off compressed air, noisier than the drill, weighs just under 2 tonne, controlled with the 2 handles on the side. Front handle here, forwards, backwards on the rails. Back handle, bucket at the front, up and over, dumps rock into the truck behind it, goes back down. 3 to 4 full buckets into the truck, push it out. 1.5 to 2 minutes done. Way quicker. Did not use these here. Better go back up because the young fella's not feeling right. Okay? So, we're going to go down this way. Follow me, stay in the middle with this step.
Kid at the front, not well. Poor thing. Back to the lift.
Everyone else is like to get into the lift. Watch your step going in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, leave your helmets on, but you can turn your lights off on the way up. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. We're now saving 61 metres underground in the Heritage Trail Rocky Watts line now. All spot so far.
Big sod. Big sod.
Thank you for keeping the helmets on the whole way through. Alright. Got any hats or anything? Hang up the hooks, go and grab them. Is your truck over there for me, please?
Sorry.
No, you're alright.
Cool. Right there.
Hey.
Your truck gotta be fine. Alright. Okay everyone, so we're going to go straight up. We're going to come this way. We've got a hair net to throw away. There's a bin on the left. We are going to come up this way. So there's another group coming down. If we start to the left hand side, that'll be good.
There you go. That was 61 metres deep, folks. Oh, through here.
This way we go. To the left, to the left. Do what Beyonce said.
And we are out.
summer down there.
A lot cooler out here.
Yeah. All right. Close the door going that way. The seats over there if you need a seat. Yep. I'd like to quickly thank you all for coming. Hopefully you had fun on the tour. If you learned something about this morning, great. If you just had fun, great. Have a look around on the surface. It is included in your ticket price. Heritage listed buildings, pretty much up this end. Handing them the site, the battery shed. Refer to the map that you got when you checked in. Take it for a self-guided surface tour. Really nice to meet you all. Enjoy staying Bendigo. Safe trip home when you leave. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers. Thank you. Good job. That kid I said that looks like Leland on Oshituck mushrooms in Utah, America. That kid, he felt a bit sick. So but we managed to finish the thing anyway. So we are done. Please like and subscribe to Oshituck Kitties and encourage others to subscribe as well, folks. And we'll see you when we create some, yeah.
It won't be that one, it'll be the burner that comes in, so it's one will fall over the balance.
I'll go for a tram ride.